I ever leave this world alive, oh thank you for the things you did in my life. If I ever leave this world alive, I'll come back down and sit beside your feet tonight. Wherever I am, you'll always be more than just a memory. If I ever leave this world alive, if I ever leave this world alive, I'll take on all the sadness that I left behind. If I ever leave this world alive, the madness that you feel will soon subside. So in a word, don't shed a tear. I'll be here when it all gets weird. If I ever leave this world alive. Just call my name just before you go insane. If I ever leave this world, hey, I may never leave this world, but if I ever leave this world alive, she says, I'm okay, I'm alright. From my life, you said that it would. Now everything should be alright. She says, I'm okay, I'm alright. Though you have gone from my life, you said that it would. Now everything should be alright. Yeah, should be alright.
Who's up for game 3? I can barely see the bourbon drowning next to me, and I just lost it all. Well, there's a man sitting next to me, red with smiling eyes. It's funny, I don't have no money tonight, yeah. That was a crazy game of poker. That was a great game of poker. I lost it all. I lost it all. But someday I'll be back again, and I never to fall, never to fall. Well, how about that? I'm coming out the front, never coming out the back. And I walked into the bar yesterday, 'cause I had something to do, something to say. And Johnny walked in right behind me, and I didn't turn around until I heard the sound of his feet falling on the ground. I looked over my shoulder and I saw a clown, and I said, "What you doing in the bar tonight?" So I said, "Johnny, what you doing tonight?" He looked at me with a face full of fright, and I said, "How about a revolution?" And he said, "Right." I said, "Oh, you say I say revolution, and you say die." I said, "Oh, you say I say revolution, and you say die, 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 die." And I said, "What you looking at?" He hit me across the face with the bat. I grabbed my 45 and I said, "Let's get out and go." So he opened the door and said, "What you here for?" I said, "I'm wandering down the road 404. And I said, "I've been walking for about 1,000 years. And my feet are growing tired, my eyes a little wide. Don't know what to do unless I retire." And he just said, "Just play some crazy poker." So I said, "Johnny, what you doing tonight?" He looked at me with a face full of fright, and I said, "How about a revolution?" And he said, "Right." I said, "Oh, you say I say revolution, and you say die." I said, "Oh, you say I say revolution, and you say die, 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 die." That was the craziest game of poker that I ever saw. Said that was the craziest game of poker that I ever saw. But I'm not gonna quit and I'm not gonna stop. I don't give a shit 'cause I got the drop. Johnny just got 2 eyes just like mine, and I'm feeling kinda funky, kinda fine. And I drank a bottle of whiskey before I came to the bar to see what's the same. I saw my man named Johnny sitting across the table from me, and to my left was a man, he had no chin. Didn't really think about starting to sin. The man to my right wasn't feeling kinda nice. He looked kinda mad, and I felt bad because I took his money it last night, it's kinda funny, but now I'm just struggling. I need a honey bunny. I don't know what to say anymore, so I'm just gonna go out. Hey, oh, I said, Johnny, what you doing tonight? He looked at me with a face full of fright, and I said, how about a revolution? And he said, right. I said, oh, you say I say revolution, and you say die. I say no, oh, you say I say revolution, and you say die. I say oh, and you say I say revolution, and you say die. I say no, oh, you say I say revolution, and you say die, da, 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 da. He's just a man getting through life the best he can. He's not a scientist who programs a computer before that. He sold cars to pay a student loan. Now he receives pity from his family. His friends say, how could he turn his back on reason, worshipping a god, finding truth through fear and mind control. He's just a man trying to explain how he found the word of God can make life seem less insane. So he shares what he's read, what he understands. It makes sense to him, it makes perfect sense. He's never seen the world so clearly. Turn his back on free will as he lost his mind. Rather kneel down than take charge of his life. And he knows what people think, but it doesn't sway him. He can read the writings on the wall, 'cause he knows how people treat, how they treat each other. Sacrifice to benefit the all. Don't try to judge him. His theology and ideals. His hope may be false, but his happiness is real. Don't try to judge him. He's just a man. There's no one in town, I know. You gave us some place to go. I never said thank you for that. I thought I might get one more chance. What would you think of me now? So lucky, so strong, so proud. I never said thank you for that. Now I never have a chance. May angels lead you in. Here you meet my friends. On sleepless roads the sleepless go. May angels
never have a chance. May angels lead you in. Here you meet my friends. On sleepless roads the sleepless go. May angels lead you in.
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 May angels lead you in. And if you were with me tonight, I'd sing to you just one more time. A song for a heart so big God wouldn't let it live. May angels lead you in. Here you meet my friends. On sleepless roads the sleepless go. May angels lead you in. May angels lead you in. Here you meet my friends. On sleepless
Here it comes!